Hey everyone, Burlyman Gaming here from the Arena Productions podcast, here with Fryman14.
Hello. Thanks for having me on, Burley.
Thank you for being here, and thank you so much for the footage here of God of War Ragnarok Valhalla DLC. The DLC we did not see coming, but it is very, very addicting.
Yes, agreed. Very addicting.
I have not finished the story of this DLC, I'll admit, but I've gotten a fair amount through. I know Fryman here has finished the whole DLC story.
hmm Yeah, have finished it on its normal mode. I am going back to see about playing on a harder difficulty because there's a lot more you can unlock on the harder difficulties. But otherwise, yeah, I have finished it and I really liked what I played, and I'm looking forward to playing more.
Well, who would have guessed that we were going to get a roguelike mode for God of War, not to mention get shown at the Game Awards and be shown, hey, this is coming in X amount of days and coming both to the PS4 and PS5 version of the game for free.
Yeah, yeah, especially for the PS4 and 5 version, because the thing I'm sure you've noticed, a lot of these like cross-gen games that eventually get like a next-gen upgrade, almost all of them, they have extra modes, which is fair enough, especially with like Last of Us and what was it, it's Final Fantasy VII Remake. It's like it's cool that you have it there, but to a lot of other people, they pretty much have to buy these newer consoles just to play this new content that's available. So it is nice that yeah they both did that for the PS4 owners, but also made it free. That too is just great.
Oh yeah, that it's nice that PS4 owners are not left out on this, but this DLC, I like when it got announced, shown because I watched the Game Award live in my apartment watching it. It was great to see. But you were actually there at the Game Awards. What was the room like when this got announced?
Oh yeah, it was quite the experience, especially for me, because this was the first time I've gone to the Game Awards, especially with my friends. And the second we saw the trailer and we didn't know what it was, and then Kratos showed on screen and they showed us what it was, and then we saw the title and release date. It's just like the whole my whole row, and I feel like the whole theater just shook with excitement. And it was like you really had to be there because of how cool it was, honestly.
You had to have gone to the Game Awards in this your first time ever being and getting this announced show. Wow.
Yeah, quite the experience.
Now, one thing with this DLC is you can enter this DLC at any time. If you downloaded, if you bought Ragnarok today and downloaded the DLC, you can enter it without playing the main game. I recommend playing the main game and beating the main game because you'll get spoiled in the main game story if you play this mode. Uh, but it's nice to see that they have anyone that joins into this DLC from wherever you are in the story. We all start with the same stats. They have all your weapons are at the max level, so you can use the different combos and attacks, which is really nice.
Yeah, definitely. And the one thing I really like that they do for this DLC to really help with the combat as well as the gameplay loop they have going with it is that the one thing I have not really personally been a fan of with these newer God of War games is the fact that it's very focused on loot and armor. And for this DLC, they made it pretty much just cosmetic, so you can choose how you want Kratos to look, but it doesn't have any real impact on your stats. So there's really no like easier solution that you can kind of do with like how the main game was all had armor. So yeah, I do like that because it got me to focus more on exact builds that I want to go with every run that I do.
Yeah, no, that is nice. That the armor is just cosmetic here. You don't doesn't matter. One of the things I really liked with this DLC is even if you have a run you do and it doesn't go well and you die, you go back to the beginning, but you still keep a lot of like the souls and stuff you had been collecting. You can go to the little shop at the beginning and increase your stats. So, okay, I, I'm taking a lot of damage here. Let's put it into defense. Or no, I should put it in my strength. So that way I'm stronger for my next run and it'll save this stuff. So that way, even if you were having short runs and not lasting long, you're constantly gaining items and just making it so you can get further and further each time.
Yep. That is the case, but also if you're one who wants more of a challenge for if you find it too easy, especially when you get your stats, your permanent stats up to a certain point, they have a system to which you can take on burdens that give you that if for a certain amount of encounters, you actually if you play with a handicap essentially, like you do less damage, your health drains much quicker, or it's like you can only damage enemies when you use like the permafrost or the immolation ability, if I pronounce that correctly. But nonetheless, though, it's like it's definitely how you want to play is definitely how you want to play with this DLC, which I do like. And to add on to an earlier point, actually, since I've beaten it, I can tell you that one of the cool things they do if you've already beaten the campaign and played through Valhalla, you actually do a lot of things you've unlocked, like either special abilities or specific armor that's exclusive to Valhalla. That does actually carry into a new game plus playthrough, and as well as Valhalla modes that you get from your new game plus playthrough. So that is really cool, especially if you're interested in going back and playing through the main game.
Yeah, that is cool. So you can do a new game plus run and just have some extra stuff from the DLC to bring it through. One thing, they've also brought stuff back from God of War Ragnarok, as well as God of War 2018, but also the earlier God of War games back from the PS2 and PS3. They've brought older enemies from the older games and some older storyline plot stuff. So if you're a fan of the older God of War games, you're getting some cool stuff.
Yeah, especially one moment that, don't worry, we won't spoil, but it's worth it. And it was definitely for me, who's a fan of the old school God of War games, it was great to see. And not only that, they took a few familiar set piece moments from the original trilogy and they turned them into combat arenas, which was definitely cool to see, given the fact of what those areas represented in the original trilogy. It was really cool to see them in this modern engine and with this new gameplay.
Yeah, having all that stuff from the older games, bringing it up to the modern level, and the quality that we have, it's just so good to see. And it's nice to see that they're still willing to, because I've heard people that have not played the 2018 and Ragnarok, they're wondering like, are those old games? Those games aren't canon no more. No, they're still canon. They're 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 giving you stuff. You will get those nostalgia moments, those member berries, but also in this realm, because you're in this Valhalla DLC, you're going between all 9 realms. You can go through and go through the doors and stuff like that, as well as you in some rooms you're going to. You have 2 different doors, so you can pick where you're going. You'll recognize the different symbols, but you can also pretty much every other room you'll go back to a room where you get the shop and you can buy upgrades, buy some health, buy some Spartan Rage. You can suspend the game, do the suspend game option. It'll take you to the title screen and you can turn off your PlayStation and continue later, which is so nice.
Yeah, especially if you don't have much time to sit and play this mode. It's not long, which is also good. But yeah, for some people, I can definitely see that this mode might give them some trouble or two. So it's nice that they fought about that for people who might have that problem.
Yeah, I must say, for free DLC, the amount of thought and effort has gone into this is just astounds me. Like, because usually when you hear free DLC, you're like, okay, I don't expect much. But no, like they can in this they give you hours worth of content, a couple hours worth of content, and because like you said, there are different difficulties. I think there's 5 in total, so
Yeah.
you can beat it on lower difficulties, work yourself up, and keep. I was like, okay, I beat it on the normal level. Now let's go to hard, and then the hardest difficulty. No one at Santa Monica has even beaten it yet.
Yep. That is what they have said, but also the one interesting thing also is apparently this is not the end for this story that they're telling. So either that could mean got a third new God of War game is pretty much confirmed, or maybe more DLC down the road. You never know. All I know is I'm excited for what they do next with the storyline.
Oh yeah, whether they want to make DLC or make another game, because we've had the rumored Atreus game that we were gonna get. We got this DLC instead. I'm down for it. I know they said they're working on another project that isn't God of War based. Hey, with them putting this a year out after the game had launched, take their time, whatever they're willing to put out for God of War next, I'm down for.
Yeah, me as well. I'm really interested in what they do next, but I definitely do think they've earned to work the right to work on like something else because after a while, it's like I'm sure they do want to do something else. But either way, though, I'm still looking forward to it, like whatever they do from here.
Yeah, so we'd love to hear from everyone here in the YouTube comment section. What did you think of this DLC? Did this get you to come back to God of War Ragnarok? Did you like it? Are you a fan of roguelikes? We'd love to hear from you. And thank you so much, Fryman, for the footage of this and coming here to talk about this with me. Really do appreciate it.
Yeah, no, thank you for inviting me, dude. This was a lot of fun.
Alrighty. I think this is best to wrap it up here. Thank you everyone so much. Uh, hope you all have enjoyed. See y'all next time for our next extra take.